I think what Utah is doing right now is messing around with the integrity of the NBA. The ability to sit players, starters, in the fourth quarter, to not call timeouts in the fourth quarter. Orlando won the game on Saturday because they basically rested players. And it backfired on them last night. So I think if you're the league, you're looking at it. All right, can we do some gimmicks? Can we alter protections and eliminate protections as far as picks? Or can we put the hammer down?
Bobby Marks, NBA front office insider for ESPN. Making headlines right there, messing around with the integrity of the NBA. PK, you posted this on our Facebook page where 20 or 30 comments is normal, 50's big, 122 comments. Jazz fans have a lot to say about Bobby Marks, and it isn't real positive.
STFU, Marks.
Cameron, the, in quotes, integrity of the NBA. Bah! Laughing, crying emojis. They haven't had a gambling scandal since this year. They've had gambling scandals in fairly recent memory with officials who've been accused of favoritism by probably 2/3 of the fan bases in the league. The integrity of the NBA, Cameron laughs in your face.
The cold envelope for Ewing.
Oh.
Cleveland gets LeBron.
I have seen NBA lifers sit in a media room, people who worked in the league and drew paychecks their entire adult life, 100% sure the league arranged for Ewing to go to New York.
Integrity.
Dallas trades away their best player, franchise type, and gets Cooper Flag. Okay.
They have, and the NBA has put itself out there and then turns a blind eye on some things, but other things they just get enraged about, and we got to listen to lectures left and right, mostly left, actually.
This specific lecture, totally predicted. Watching NBA coverage at the start of the season, Brian Windhorst, who's covered the league for years for ESPN, somebody asked him about teams that are bad, and he said, you're going to have me on after the All-Star break and ask me about the 10 teams that are tanking. And they're like, what? He goes, 1/3 of the league. It's going to be an epidemic. It's already set. Everybody knows how good the players are at the top of this draft. Everybody wants a young talent that's on a rookie contract that's inexpensive. He says everybody who figures out they have no shot at the playoffs is going to go hard to improve their draft position as much as they can. This is completely predictable. We've talked about this. You've said it multiple times. You don't have to like what the Jazz are doing. As a matter of fact, you can hate it, but you shouldn't be surprised by it. Free agency and trades aren't really a realistic path for a lot of cities in this league. The draft is the path. You can't make the trades until you draft good talent that grows up and people want to trade for it. You've got to do this. And Brian Windhorst, who has no dog in the fight, says 1/3 of the league is going to do it, and 3 months later, he's 100% right.
Wasn't that every year?
I remember when he said that. He said it happens.
7 teams. There's 5 teams.
Yeah. That was his point. He said it happens every year. It's going to be way worse this year because there's so much talent in this draft. And so, and I think your point's well taken. You know, the issue's the issue, but it becomes more obvious when most of the games you turn on have a team that's tanking, or a few of them have 2 tanking teams going against each other, and nobody's playing.
Yeah, but that's not the case.
The Lakers are going to be in the playoffs, and they sat everybody. I mean, Luka's not. They got 3 players people want to see. None of the 3 played.
Yeah, I think they're legitimately hurt.
They wouldn't play if it were a playoff game. It's not.
Well, what do they have to tank? The issue is tanking. The Lakers aren't tanking.
I think the issue for the league is the regular season, which already had been devalued to a degree, is consistently getting devalued even more.
Well, I don't think it is. I think it stays the same. It's always been devalued compared to the playoffs. Nobody remembers what Jordan did in the regular season, but we're going to recite by memory what he did in the postseason. That's the curse and the blessing of the NBA.
Go ahead.
The NBA season is too long, too many games. What do you expect these guys to do? And they've been pampered and all that stuff, and it's all about the postseason. So I actually think that what the Jazz are doing, the creative tanking, is what's getting under everybody's skin. If they would just do what everybody else is doing, nobody would have said anything.
Just shut everybody down.
But the fact that they made the trade and they want to get Jaren Jackson out there on the floor to play with the guys, and then they said, okay, how about let's go this way? And they're 1-1 with the creative tank. The CT is new, and people are up in arms about it because they thought of it and nobody else thought of it.
Well, go out and do it tonight.
Yeah.
Nothing's stopping you.
Yeah.
They haven't penalized coaches for their playing rotations. You know,
Oh,
when
why
the guy
should they?
plays 20,
And-
25, 30, 35 minutes, it's up to the coach.
And the Jazz, because of the way they've been reconstructed during this tank era, is allowed to be able to play a bunch of first-round draft choices. They're not playing two-way guys who, let's face it, have little to no chance of ever making an impact.
Little to no feature. But
Yeah.
there is a chance that Sensabaugh will need to hit a big shot in the last possession or
He's
two
a
of a game.
first-round pick, and first-round picks are valuable.
Yeah.
And
Now
Collier is a first-round pick. Filipowski wasn't, but should have been. And he's barely out of the first round, but he's obviously an NBA talent. He's got NBA skill.
Mm-hmm.
And Cody Williams is a first-round pick. He's the highest pick of all the players. So what are you going to do? Stick him in a summer league game when they play a bunch of guys who aren't going to be on NBA teams? This here is the best of the both. I actually applaud them. Whoever thought of it, take a bow. Somebody had to think of it. I don't know if it was Austin or somebody.
Right.
But this is a great, phenomenally great way to evaluate all the young guys. See them all together. Combine with the vets that you have. And playing the combination of Jackson and Markkanen for 25 to 27, maybe 30 minutes tops. They're still out there, and you can get evaluations. And you're evaluating in real settings. It's not practice. We're not talking about practice. We're talking about the summer league.
Thank you, Alan.
We're not talking about in September when it's pickup ball.
We're talking about games.
Yeah, we're talking about games with referees and other players who are trying to survive in this league because it's a cutthroat, as professional sports should be. That's it. This is actually an awesome way to go about it. They ought to be applauded, but because it's a bunch of white guys out in Utah, screw them. We're going to dump on them and crap on them all we want, and all these people are going to be on there talking about it because, well, let's get it. Could you imagine if it was somebody else who didn't look like these guys, what they would be doing? They'd be running from it big time. They'd be backpedaling faster than Deion Sanders trying to make a tackle when he was an NFL player. Let's call it like it is and have honest discussion. But we don't want to. We don't want to do that. We want to just be around the edges and just go blast these guys over there. Yeah, right. And then no, they're not going to push back. They got to sit there and take it. Go to you know where. I'll pick you up and drive you there because it's obvious I'm going to be there.
The list of people who posted who were happy to give Brian an NBA history lesson was spectacular. Josh, was he unaware that Philly tanked for 6 straight
That's
years
Bobby, but
and
yeah.
called it the process?
Right. So we dump on these guys out in Utah.
Meanwhile,
because
Philly gets
they're
it in.
barely in the U.S.
George, it's not tanking, it's load management. Ask Coach Pop. He invented it. He also worked it into top picks in the last 3 or 4 years.
Who has ever in the NBA criticized Pop?
Tony, as soon as they investigate the Spurs for tanking to get Tim Duncan, I'll listen.
But we can't criticize Pop. And we know why we can't criticize Pop. Come on.
Melody, I'm pretty sure the Nets set, and he's got a connection there, set 2 players in their last game, Agor and Porter. There are lots of teams doing this. It's a generational draft. I think everyone's jealous we got Triple J.
I think it goes far deeper than that.
Tyson, yeah, but we're far from the first team to do it. Hell, the Thunder just got done doing it, and they took home the trophy. This is really our only chance to get star players here. They're not coming in free agency.
It's the most likely pathway. I don't think it's the only way. Because I believe in the sophistication of the NBA player I don't care what he looks like, where he's from. He can get here, see what it's about, and then think, this is a great situation. I want to be here.
David, just Utah, huh? Not Sacramento, not Indiana, not Dallas, not Memphis, not Brooklyn, not the Clippers, not the Wizards, not the Bulls, not the Blazers. Okay.
Right, because they are doing it in a creative way. The normal way of tanking is no big deal. But that game against Orlando just shot the antennas up in a manner that we have never seen. Because they played the three guys, the three if you want to include Nurkic, first three quarters, sat them, and then somebody asked Will, were you tempted to put Jaren back in? I wasn't. No. And he let the young guys do it, and then he didn't call a timeout. But somebody else, if Pop doesn't call a timeout, let them play. You don't let the defense get set up. That's genius. But Will Hardy doesn't call a timeout. Why didn't you just hand the ball to somebody else on Orlando and let them have an open layup? Because that's what we're saying. You threw the game in the manner of a gambling situation. That's what they're insinuating.
Ryan, I like what PK said. Who cares? Why punish the Jazz for doing what everyone else has done and succeeded at? Ryan didn't want to hear it. Who cares? Let him pop
I don't want to
off.
hear it either, but I'm not just going to say who cares. I'm going to push back. Somebody's got to push back. They can't push back. So I'll push back for them. They just got to take it. I don't have to take it. You don't have to take it. Come on, get fired up.
Sick and tired. You don't have to take it anymore. Go over to the window and yell out, I'm sick and tired, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
What do you think about the political nature of it, too? Come on. You don't think that factors in?
I said yesterday, there are places that people like to dump on, and Utah is one of them.
Why hasn't Coach Pop ever been criticized?
Maybe because he pushes back on stuff and people are intimidated by him and don't want to. I mean, for years, the league, the TV networks wanted to do those in-game interviews, which I find largely worthless, but whatever. And he didn't want to do it. And so the person who got sent over to do it as a job, he tried to humiliate them and belittle them on TV.
And nobody ever criticized him for it?
I'm getting to it. I know. He never took any heat for that. He was flat out rude. He was mean. The people who came to this organization from San Antonio, whenever I brought it up, they freaking defended him. Well, he's a great guy. He doesn't look at like. What does he have
Great guys
on
don't
you?
need to be defended. They speak for themselves.
Does he have photos of you?
It's the same thing with Bob Knight. He was a bully. And we have all these anti-bullying campaigns. Oh, no, but he's really, really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
I know.
Nobody ever said that about Jerry. Jerry Sloan, the man's integrity, spoke for itself. You didn't need to apologize for Jerry Sloan.
No, it was the exact opposite with Jerry when it was clear his health was failing and, I knew I was going to have to do an obituary on him. I went to the visiting locker room, and when the coach was an NBA lifer, and I figured, well, at some point he must have crossed paths with Jerry and have some relationship. If it was someone who was a year or two into it and 35 years old or 40 years old, you don't know. But some of these guys you just know. And some of the stories I got were great about Jerry not just being great to people when the spotlight was on. He was great to people when the spotlight was off. And made sure he was great to fired coaches. And some of them, when I'd ask a question about him and look at him.
Great.
People in restaurants have stories and all that. And they would look at
I was in multiple social settings, and I saw the way he treated people. Yeah,
when you went to Mexico, you got to sit in vans with him and dinners.
Really well. It was an honor.
And there were coaches who at first they would look at you like, what do you ask me, Jerry Sloan for? And then a couple times you could literally see the eyes click in like, oh, I know exactly why he's asking. I know what this is for. And they would lock in, and they're like, I want to make sure I give this guy his due.
And I want to make abundantly clear that I support Coach Popovich in what he did because it worked. It was smart. It was a great idea. He didn't create the system. He played by the system's rules.
Yeah, both tanking and load management.
And he ends up getting Robinson, Duncan, and Wembanyama.
Yep.
Coach Popovich is a basketball legend, deservedly so. He does all the praise that he gets. He deserves it.
Yeah.
Because he ran it the right way. Yes, So, yeah, I support what he did 100%. And now the Jazz are trying to do the same thing, and they're doing it in a different manner, and all of a sudden they're a bunch of bums? No, not at all.
It was easier for the Spurs to tank these last few years because in their rebuild, they didn't have the Markkanen acquisition, where you got an all-star caliber player who made the game 1 year, others he hasn't. But a guy can go out and get 25, is a veteran in the league, and the Jazz have kind of tried to hide him in this rebuild. And the Spurs, in their most recent rebuild, didn't have to do that. But, to your point,
but they sat Robinson when they had him.
They did. They constantly looked at ways to whatever the rules were, maximize the advantage for them, and then they got lucky. Boston had 2 picks. Man, there's a franchise the league could have looked out for, and Boston didn't get Tim Duncan, and San Antonio did. But they managed that situation, and then the same thing with load management. Is it bad for the league? Does it devalue the regular season even further? Yes. But he was keeping his guys healthy for the playoffs, and now they've got 5 championships. So I get it. I hate it, but there are the rules. And if you don't want them to do it, cut back the games, eliminate back-to-backs. But nobody wants to give up the money, so they play 82 games long after everybody knows they shouldn't. But they do.
Yeah, I don't know that they have to do it. The Statues didn't do it. Thurl didn't do it. Mark Eaton didn't do it. Oscar Robertson didn't do it. So I would push back on that. But as far as the draft, that's the way to get premier players. It's the most logical way. The system is set up for that.
Okay, we got to take a break. When we come back, why did Marks say this? You went politics. There's somebody else.
Well, that's just part of it.
Okay, but Marks thinks it's personal. Or is it personal with Marks? And we will get to that. We got a listener here who's got his conspiracy theory NBA history lesson. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
And now, a look at traffic from the
Jazz fans riled up. Bobby Marks, NBA front office insider for ESPN, said what Utah is doing right now is messing around with the integrity of the NBA. Do you agree? And Jazz fans overwhelmingly do not agree. Motivations. A lot of people come up with a lot of different theories on motivations. Andrew says, and the thing I know about Bobby is, and this is from his, the dates may be off, but it's ballpark right. This is from his Wikipedia page. He started as intern with the Nets in 95, rose to the organization assistant general manager in 2010, was there for 5 years, and went to ESPN in 2017. So he was there, part of their front office when they made their 2 finals appearances in the early 2000s. He was the longest tenured member of the front office. And Andrew, Bobby Marks is angry because Danny Ainge fleeced him when he was in Brooklyn. You buy that, PK? It's personal?
No.
Good NBA history lesson, even if that's not the motivation.
No. I think it's because it's a new way of tanking. And it's actually, if you're going to tank, it's a great way. And they made the big-time trade to acquire Jaren Jackson, and fans want to see him out on the floor. We want to have hope for next season. Mm-hmm. And in 2 games, he's given us hope.
Yeah.
He's a player, right? And now, by extending these guys, having Ace Bailey play 30 minutes is brilliant.
It's only going to help him, right?
Yeah.
Sensabaugh has now hit a big shot in the final minute of a game. And you can see him smiling come off the court.
He can make shots.
He thought he could do it.
Shots in his
now he's done it.
Yeah. And
right, but if they're playing the other guys, that shot's going to be for Jackson or Markkanen.
I know. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he can make shots in this league.
Right.
I've seen enough of him in the time that he's been with the ball club to know he can make shots. If he's open, he can make a shot. It's as simple as that. More often than not. I'd be interested to see in wide open situations what his shooting percentage is. Guys like him, the percentage that they shoot is sort of misleading because if you're open and then when you're playing with better players, they get you open shots. I mean, you can go back in the history. Magic Johnson made a lot of people a lot of money because he got them the ball when they were open, right? We saw with Joe Ingles being able to get people the ball when they're open. and they can make shots. Yeah, open shots for these guys. For some of them, it's darn near a layup the way they can shoot the ball, right? And since I'm agreeing. Why not? What have the ball in Sensabaugh's hand, particularly now with George having these ankle issues. It seems like he's been tweaking them and stuff, and have them out there. Have Cody Williams. He needs to play. He just needs to play, man.
No better time to make mistakes than now.
And all these other teams don't have. How many guys do they have in the last 2-3 years, first rounders, including Flipper?
The Jazz went.
They traded obviously Hendricks.
Was it
and Clayton?
Yeah, but at their peak, did they have 9?
Right,
they had 9 draftees.
Right, so now they got they.
No, they
sent
moved.
Those two
they moved a couple of them on.
You
right?
got to play them.
Yep.
And Filipowski deserves to be counted as a first-round pick. You have to play him. And how many other teams have that many guys that were taken in the draft in the last 2 years? So they're not in that position to do that, to play all these kids. The Jazz are. Get them out there. Yeah.
Those other teams also aren't in a position to hide 2 All-Stars now, which the Jazz are.
But they're not hiding them. They played them 20-some minutes. They played them more than half the game.
That's a good point. Hiding them in the fourth quarter.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's why it's a genius idea. Fourth quarter's crunch time. Would you rather that they sat out the first quarter? No.
No, apparently Marks would have rather they sit out the whole game.
Yeah, that's ultimately is what you're saying.
Which is going to happen here over the final
and it has to happen.
28 games.
No one is going to hand the Jazz anything. It's like I refuse to ever criticize someone who takes the money. Because if that person doesn't take the money and then later on doesn't get it, who's giving it to them?
Who's going to hand it to them?
Right. So they have an opportunity to get money. Get it. Get the money, man. I will never, ever criticize. If somebody's got $100 million in the bank, that's another story. But we're talking about these kids in college and so forth. And so they go because Alabama offered them $1 million. And you were Levitt. He took the money. He took the money and run.
No guarantee the NFL is going to give him the money,
right?
Or anybody else after that.
And the Sun Devils, they need to stock a team, not stock a bank account of a quarterback. So he left. Does it suck? Yes. But you get the money and you take it. Same thing here. Man, if they don't get this draft pick, the league isn't saying, we feel really sorry for you. You've been a model franchise since Larry Miller got it going, say, like 1985.
40 years.
So basically 40 years. Yeah. And we really appreciate what you're doing out there because you sell out darn near every game. Your fans are passionate, blah, 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 blah. You do it the right way. Here's a draft pick. Merry Christmas. Who does that? This is the system. You don't like the system? Complain about the system. But complaining about and taking shots at the teams who are abiding by the system? No. And it so happens it's the Jazz, and that's our team. I get it. And I have a bit of homerism. I'll be the first to admit it. But it could be any team.
DJ and PK, when we come back, big announcement we've been promised. Well, we were promised it yesterday. We will get to that. What could it be? That's coming up. Stay with us.